appear to be stabilizing. Things appear to be stabilizing some today, but analysts aren't so confident about the future as the roller coaster ride continues on Wall Street. Yesterday's 419-point Dow drop has people feeling on edge. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. Fears of a recession are growing as stocks continue to swing up and down. Morgan Stanley has warned the U.S. and Europe are, quote, dangerously close to a recession. Also, the Labor Department says weekly jobless claims rose last week. All this volatility in the markets has investors spooked, and it has people pulling from 401ks, $23.5 billion worth during the first 10 days of August. But financial advisors continue to caution, don't panic.
Fear-based decision-making when it comes to investments will always cause you to lose wealth.
Further adding to the instability, Bank of America says it is about to lay off 3,500 people by the end of next month as part of a restructuring plan. More cuts could be announced later this year. The bank has struggled through a number of problems and lawsuits related to the 2008 financial crisis. We have much more business-related news coming up. First, we want to tell you about another devastating and deadly concert event, this time in Belgium. At least 3 people are dead after strong winds knocked over a stage at a music festival there. Dozens of other people were hurt as the stage toppled over. American rock band Smith Westerns was performing. Just a week ago tonight, there was a similar incident at the Indiana State Fair. A 6th person has just died from that stage collapse. Time for Global News Now. ABC News is mourning the loss of an award-winning news team. Reporter Paul Lockyer, photographer John Bean, and chopper pilot Gary Ticehurst died last night during a helicopter crash in southern Australia. They were covering the continued effects of massive flooding there. Ticehurst was ABC's chopper pilot for more than 2 decades. Lockyer covered several Olympic Games and was the face of ABC's coverage of the Sydney Games. Bean was married to ABC correspondent Pip Courtney, who says she's devastated, broken, and she'll be lost without him. The crash is under investigation. Pope Benedict is on day 2 of his 4-day visit to Madrid, Spain. It's his 16th trip there. He's there for the Catholic Church's World Youth Day celebration and today met with the Spanish royal family. The city expects close to 1 million people to attend. Vice President Joe Biden is on a 5-day trip to build ties with China. He's meeting with U.S. and Chinese business leaders. Biden also caught a Goodwill exhibition game with Georgetown University's basketball team, who was on its own 10-day trip to China. The game did not end in the spirit of diplomacy. A fight broke out on the court and ended in a bench-clearing brawl. And that's your Global News Now. Presidential candidates are known for making promises on the campaign trail. Republican contender Michelle Bachmann made a big one to a crowd of supporters in Greenville, South Carolina this week.
Under President Bachmann, you will see gasoline come down below $2 a gallon again. That will happen.
That may be a tough promise to keep. Brian Latham shows us why.
$2 gas sounds too good to be true. That's because it is. Experts say in the first place, it's not up to the president to fix oil prices.
The price of crude oil is not set in Washington, D.C. It's not set in Louisiana. It's not set in Texas. It's set worldwide.
High prices frustrate any White House, but they can't fix it. Recently, President Obama blamed Mideast unrest.
And over the last 6 months, we've had a run of bad luck. Some things that we could not control. We had an Arab Spring that promises democracy and potentially a growth of human rights throughout the Middle East, but it also caused high gas prices.
George W. Bush, an oil man, was resigned about it.
I wish I could just wave a magic wand and lower the price at the pump. I would do that. That's not how it works.
About the only way for gas prices to get back to $2 a gallon is for the entire global economy to tank, in which case demand for gas, along with the price, would go down.
It is an entirely irrational, baseless claim, not doable. The only way you can bring gas prices to $2 is if you cut the price of gas, of oil, a barrel of oil, more than in half. And the likely way to get there is a global depression, not just a recession.
Bachmann didn't explain how she would get to $2 a gallon gas. Though on her congressional website, she calls energy independence a goal we can get to. by offshore drilling in places now off limits. The truth? There are 18 billion barrels of oil out there. The Energy Department says by one estimate, it probably wouldn't last us more than 2.5 years. Other strategies? Experts say eliminating gas taxes would just bring pennies on the dollar. Same thing with releasing part of the Strategic Oil Reserve. I'm Brian Latham reporting.
Well, a car that uses very little gas is really in demand right now. Here's Ryan Bass with tonight's Back to Business.
Mortgage rates have hit a record low, making homes even more affordable for prospective buyers. Freddie Mac says the average 30-year fixed rate loan fell to 4.15% this week, its lowest level in more than 50 years. The previous record was 4.17%, set last November. The Chevy Cruze was the best-selling compact car in July, selling nearly 25,000 vehicles, beating out the Toyota Corolla, Hyundai Elantra, and Ford Focus. So far this year, GM has sold more than 147,000 Cruzes in the U.S. That's almost double the amount of Prius sold during that same period, but still trailing the Corolla, which sold more than 154,000. Don't be surprised if you see some extra $3 fees on your Wells Fargo account. That's how much the bank plans to charge some of its customers to use debit cards to make purchases. It's testing out the monthly fee starting October 14th in 4 states: Georgia, New Mexico, Nevada, and Oregon. Banks are no longer allowed to charge stores as much for taking the cards, so they're seeking other ways to raise revenue. For Back to Business, I'm Ryan Bass.
Well, this story has plenty of people talking, and a babysitter in really hot water with police.
There's a back in a pickup truck while I was driving on Nova Road southbound.
Take a look at the video out of Daytona Beach, Florida. You can see a stroller in this truck bed. Police eventually caught up with the truck driven by a man. Kiona Davis is the babysitter and the passenger. She explained to the court she's been babysitting without incident since she was a teen and didn't realize police would consider this endangering a child.
It's not like they give you a handbook or anything on what's neglect and what's not neglect.
Davis now faces felony child neglect charges. Take a look at this video out of Hialeah, Florida. One of the crooks got clumsy and nearly knocked himself out while stealing an air conditioner. He fell backwards, hitting his head while trying to pry open the cage. Now, the pain kept him down, but a little wobbly on his feet, he still managed to get back up and finish the job. Has your morning newspaper disappeared from your driveway recently? Authorities say it could be a case involving discount-seeking thieves. Newspapers are vanishing from racks and yards, and extreme couponing is being blamed. Shannon Moore from our affiliate KRXI has more on this problem from Reno, Nevada.
These days, everybody's looking to save a little more at the checkout stand.
We're having a lot of trouble, so wherever we can pinch a little penny is the way to go.
But some are looking for a real steal. Authorities around the country are blaming couponers for the rise in recent newspaper thefts. They say the cutouts are enticing even more customers during today's trying times. And shoppers seem to agree. Do you ever coupon yourself?
Yes, I do. And I'm seeing it happen a lot more often today than any other time, yes.
Why do you think that's so?
The economy is so bad, so things are bad. And coupons are coming in handy.
But others are ready to discount the crime. They say it's the price that may need to be paid to feed families.
Well, you know, some people don't have nothing, so maybe that's their way of living.
I don't think it's right to steal, but it doesn't really surprise me. Not with the way the economy is now, and nobody has any money.
Some papers are reporting a higher number in sales, but it's paper deliverers who have to pay for the copies that go missing. Now, we did talk with the Reno Police Department, and though they haven't had any situations of this happening here in Reno, they did tell us you could face misdemeanor charges if you're caught snatching up a newspaper. Shannon Moore reporting for INN News.
Well, from stealing newspapers to super steals.
If you don't feel like cooking, don't worry. You can still save money feeding your family. I'm Erica Rodriguez. Coming up, I'll show you a few websites that'll save you money at restaurants.
Plus, one SUV hits the mother of all potholes. What may have caused this mess? And from car traffic to boat traffic, one formerly busy interstate is now a river where flooding continues to affect people. Next on INN.